There you go. And okay, whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ariel Baron. I am a South Florida stand-up comedian, and I am here with the wonderful, talented, incredible Reese Manigan. He is an excellent director, film genius, and we're here to talk about season three of Outsmarted. How are you, Reese?
I'm very well, Ariel. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for being flexible with your schedule.
No, thank you for doing
It's a
this as
bit late
well.
over there, right? I'm over in Florida. It's like 4.
Yeah, but it's fine. I never really have a bedtime routine anyway, so it's fine. And this is worth it, so it's worth staying up for.
Nice. I have a bedtime routine and I go to bed at 8:30. That's not a joke. I sleep very early, more than an adult should, but that's besides the point. We have some questions here for you. The people are dying to know. So, my first question for you is how do you come up with a season of Outsmarted? Like, what's the process or steps that you'll do to plan the season out?
So how it begins is I'll have an idea, a little rough idea of what I want to do for a season. So, for example, season one was about a gangster war that goes wrong. Season two was about a serial killer. And season three, which is coming up, is about a family betrayal. So, so what I'll do,
Nice light work.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's what I'll come up with, and then I'll think, okay, so how can I arc this story out? How many episodes will it be? And with season one, it was very experimental, and I was like, okay, I think I know what I want to do with this and how it's going to structure. And then, obviously, with my character, who's a detective, he's got to figure out, okay, how does he fit into this crime situation? What's he going to do? How's he going to solve the case? Or what dangers are you going to be put in? And so it's a case of like structuring that story. We get the arc, and then I make a lot of bullet points. I think, okay, this character can do this, and I map the journey out very well. And then once I reach the goal, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's how it's going to be. And then I'll start writing the ideas, and then the rest is history.
I love it. No, it's really good to have a process out there, and it makes sense that first season in and of itself, you have a pilot. A pilot is an experimental episode, so
Well, that's
it's
true. I mean, that's how we started. We did do a pilot
mhm.
in 2021, and then because it became so successful, I kind of already got inspired what I wanted to do with it with that pilot. But then it was a case of, well, let's see how this pilot goes because I want to see if people want more. And because it became a hit on my channel, I was like, okay, let's bring more.
Keep rolling. That's amazing. That's fantastic. And when you cast the actors, do you typically know who you want to star in your series, or do actors have to audition for their roles?
Um, well, it's funny that you should say that because when I started out with the pilot and season one, I actually just wanted my cast family involved, which is just the people who I've worked with. Because when I started working on Outsmarted, I was going through this really horrible phase where I was meeting these really unreliable actors. They were coming into my
Mhm.
life, wanting to work with me, and then they just decided to turn me down at last minute. And it
Oh,
was getting really, yeah. I mean, I've met a lot of toxic actors, but that's another story.
trust
But
me. So
well, there you go. But then after what I'd done was I was like, right, okay, I've got outsmarted. I'm going to start focusing on this. This will help me out. And then I was immediately right. Okay, I'm casting so, and they were like, yep, okay, we're in. But the only new actor I had was Melissa, who plays Judy in the first two seasons, and she was like, "Oh, I'd like to be part of this," and I was like, "Well, I'm not really looking for anybody new to come in." But then she was like, "Oh, look, I'll promise I won't turn you down. I won't ruin it." And I was like, "All right, I'll give her a chance, and if she messes up, I can just delete her scenes."
right, exactly.
Amazingly, she proved me wrong, and she done a great job, and she stayed reliable. So that happened, and then with season two, it was kind of funny because I minimized the casting because I didn't really want season two to be as massive as season one because season one was quite difficult to make due to the amount of actors I had.
Right. We're
Um,
not looking at an Avengers Endgame kind of situation. We're not trying to bend the wheel here.
exactly. But luckily with season two, it was just luckily it was me, it was Melissa, and the actress who played the serial killer. So that was pretty easy. And luckily, I got that out really quickly because of that. And then surprisingly, with season three, when I announced that I was doing a season three, I had all these actors jump in and they really, really wanted to be part of it because I think season two done really well. So it got a bit of notice. And then all of a sudden it was like, I want to be in the next season. So now it's literally attracting like bees to honey.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I can definitely sympathize with, having to really the performance art world, whether it's through film, I have a background in theater and now I'm in comedy. Everywhere you go, there's going to be people that don't respect the art. They don't respect the art. They don't respect the project. They don't respect your time. And it sucks.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I also try to remind myself it all happens for a reason. And that was the clearest example of the trash taking itself out. So you can focus
literally.
on the people that are going all in with you into the art. So, I think of it as a good thing almost, but
Yeah.
obviously if I was in your shoes in the moment, I would have set a hit on somebody, but that's neither here nor there. So let's talk about the recent season here. What is season 3 about exactly, and where does it pick up after season 2 ended?
So season three set 18 months after season two, and we find Red in a very bad position. He obviously,
Mm.
after what happened at the end of season two, he's now gone into a very depressed state because he had to fire Judy at the end of season two. And even though he managed to catch the serial killer, he still feels like he's lost. And we see him drinking, we see him, he doesn't give a crap about his job anymore.
Mm.
He's just kind of like in a very bad state. But then what happens is, without any spoilers, is an old flame comes back into his life, and we don't know
Ooh.
why she's come back. I mean, is she there because she wants to be back with him, or does she have something else in mind? So that's what happens, and then in the meantime, he's got to deal with the fact that his old enemy Johnny Quinn returns, and also he's got to deal with this really nasty gangster family that want him dead. So
Oh,
he gets put through a lot of sticky situations.
bit of a rough Wednesday, it sounds like. Yeah.
Rough week for him, yeah.
Woo wee.
But what makes it what people invested in is that there is more to this than just Red's story. Obviously, there's a new female detective that comes in to help him because unfortunately Melissa couldn't do this season. So we have a new female detective who, not to replace her, but just to fill in that gap,
Absolutely.
who's called Detective Jane Snow, who's played by Natasha, who done a great job. And the gangster family, who are called the Bear family, they're really great characters. They really make the season very entertaining. So I can't wait for the audience to watch those characters come to life. And so
Wonderful.
yeah, and so that's what season three is all about. And it's definitely bigger than the previous seasons. I'll definitely say that. There's definitely a lot of stuff that happens in this season.
I can't wait to watch it. And for the new seasons, you just mentioned this theme of family betrayal, and that perks my ears up. I love a good you did it. What exactly inspired you to come up with this theme for season 3?
Well, it was funny because as like I said, I always get inspired by an idea when I do a previous season. So when I was doing season two in the filming, I thought, okay, where can Red's situation go from there? And I always think about that, and I'm always writing notes while I'm in production, and I think, okay,
Right.
season three, where can it go? Okay, Red will be depressed, and it goes from there. And then, yeah, so family betrayal because I was bringing in this gangster family. It was kind of funny. I always thought that I don't think gangsters are very committed to each other, even though they're meant to be a team. I always know there's always one that's always a rat or a snake or someone in the behind the scenes that doesn't
Yeah.
really want to be part of that family or wants to kind of get out of it. And the only way they can is if they kill their family or if they do something insane. And, I always thought to myself, that would make an interesting concept for an idea. And so when we do see this bear family, they're already in a bit of a position because the first episode starts off with a funeral. And basically, they're now put in this situation of, okay, one of our family members is dead. Now we need to start showing how higher and scarier we can be because
Mhm.
the person that died in their family was the toughest one in the group. And now that that person's gone, it's kind of like they feel like they started off as a pack of wolves, but now they start to feel more like coyotes. and
Mm.
so they feel weaker. So even though they have that, they're like, we can have strength if we stick together. But let's just say that there's about one or two people that might not want to stick with that pack.
That's really interesting. Yeah. And I'm definitely seeing, there's a lot of crime families on TV in media. One that comes to mind right now is in Penguin on HBO,
Yeah.
exploring the Falcone and Gigantes and the Maroni family. And I'm just like, it's such an interesting dynamic because there's so many places you can go with it. And at the core of it, there is that kind of family. It comes from that place of wanting to protect. Sometimes it turns into something bigger than ourselves, and it's really interesting. And I'm excited to see that. And this season, it's going to be made up of 8 episodes. Was it always going to be 8, or how did you exactly come up with that number?
Eight's a really awesome number. No,
She's
it,
curvy, sexy.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a very sexy number. That's why I
Yeah,
chose.
right.
But no, it was going to be seven at first. It was going to be seven until I'd say when I was just about to finish the scripts. But then I had to really rethink about it because for some reason the ending for this season was the hardest one to think of. I had originally a different idea for it, and I thought, okay, this could work. But then afterwards, I kind of thought, well, actually, this ending doesn't feel very satisfying. I mean, I had a sort of it was satisfying for me, but I didn't think it was too satisfying for the viewers. So I was like, okay, actually, do you know what? Maybe it should go in a different direction. So I actually had to rewrite episodes 6, 7, and I was like, okay, where this can be the fight scene, or where can this be the conclusion scene? Where can this storyline end? And I thought maybe I need to squeeze in one more episode to see if I can conclude it. So I wrote another draft after writing episode 7, and I thought, okay, let me see where this goes. And then afterwards, I thought, okay, no, episode 8 works because there's more time to fill in the story because I've got 6 and 7 that have this big moment. And then episode 8, so right, okay, this is where it all begins to end. So,
Right.
and in a way, it works better because it kind of felt like I was cramming the story in too much with 6 and 7. And I
Mhm.
thought, no, this doesn't work. It feels too crammed in. And the audience are going to watch this and go, it looks a bit rushed. It looks a bit, nah. So I thought, all right, let's try and squeeze in one episode and see if I can do it. And then it actually felt like I had a bit more room in my brain because I was kind of stretching out a bit more. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, this works. So 8, in a way, kind of saved my life.
Very good. That's awesome. And it's good that you're kind of able to look at the process and say, we can change this, and it worked out from the project. And exactly how did you manage to get the legend Paula Pert in the season? That's amazing.
Yeah, Pauline Pert, like
Paula,
she's well known for being in the old Dracula films. She used to play the female Black Dracula, and she was in the old Carry On films as well. Obviously known as playing the sexy black girl years ago, and I mean, she used to be a model and everything like that. But I'll tell you what, she's still gorgeous, even for her age. She's still a very beautiful woman, and not just beautiful as in her look. She's such a lovely, lovely woman, and it was so weird to meet her because I did hear about her and I did sort of see what she was, and she's really sweet. We sat down and we met on a set and we became really good friends. And then one day she just called me up one day and was like, "I want to work with you," and I was like, "Blimey!" I was like that. I was like, "That's a shock." But then I said to her, "But you do know my projects aren't paid at the moment, right? I'm not exactly there." But
right.
then she was like, "I don't care. I just want to be working in one of your films." And I was like, "Okay, well, if I've got something, I'll give you a call." And as the years went on, I had some ideas for her, but she was always busy. I mean, she's still, like I said, she's still famous. She's still out signing autographs and going to conventions and film festivals, and she's always busy. And it was like, oh, like when am I ever going to get to work with her? And then what happened was when I was writing Outsmarted and I had the Bear family, I was like, she could be part of this, like, but how can she? And then I had this idea, and you'll find out when you watch episode 3, because that's her episode. And then I phoned her up and I was like, right, Pauline, I know you're always busy. I know you've always got something going on, but listen, hear me out. I've got this role. It will take literally like 3 hours to film. we can do it wherever you want. Just please be part of this. And I, explained to her about her character and the role. And then she was like, yeah, I'm free on this day. Come over my place. Let's get it filmed. And we done it. And oh my God, honestly, working with her was it was one of my most best experiences of all my 20 years of filmmaking. I mean, what made it really special was number one, she did ad lib, which I was really happy about because I wanted to have that collaborative process with her. Number two, she's very funny, which I was very shocked about. I didn't imagine her being as funny as she was, because I always imagined her as a very serious person, but she was very, very funny. And I can honestly tell you, she gives out, and this is no word of a lie, the best performance of all my Outsmarted series I've ever seen. She literally floods it and
Wow.
just like honestly, she wipes out everybody. And I remember leaving her home that day, and I was just absolutely mesmerized by that performance. And when I was editing it and I was putting it all together and I was watching it, I just went, this is the amazing. Like I can't believe I got her in this and she pulled out the best performance. So I am so excited for when people are going to see her in this series. And I really hope that people give out their feedback on it because I honestly love what she done. So it's going to be amazing. And I'm just so honored that I managed to get her in this season.
That's so awesome. And a big thing that I've also learned being in show business is it is so much who you know. And not just who you know, but the relationships that you foster with them. Because if you didn't have a good relationship with her, it's not easy out here in these economies working for free. But it just it's a big testament to your character as well that she felt it worth it to be a part of this project and give your art a chance. I think that's amazing. And I'm so happy for you that you got to work with her and have those experiences.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And do you think that people will enjoy this season more than season one and season two?
Oh, that's always a tough question because I actually didn't think people were going to enjoy season two as much as season one. I mean, it was a surprise. I mean,
Right.
like taking it back a bit again. When I done the pilot, people loved it, and I was like really surprised by that. I thought, wow, okay, they love it. And then I did series one. But then what was really funny was when I was telling people, like people say, oh, what's your next project? What are you doing now? When oh, I'm doing this comedy detective series, and he's an idiot, and he's does this and everything, and then he just went, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, good luck with that." And I was like, "Oh, so no one's interested?" Like I was like, "No one seems interested." So I thought, all right, fine. I won't blow it out of the water. I won't brag about it. I'll just send it off. And then so I put it up and uploaded it. And I was like, right, here it is. If you want to watch it, watch it. And then I left it there. And then 24 hours later, I checked to see the views, and it absolutely blew up. And then I was like, who the hell's watching this? Like, it's blown up.
You're the one
And
that
then
made it. You're like, who in the
yeah, like obviously
at the
people
time?
like honestly people had been sharing it, and I was just like, oh my god, like I did not expect the reaction. And then
Wow.
I did episode two. I was like, all right, let's see well next week's episode does. And then that was going up, and then I did episode three, and that was going, and I just went, I guess I got to do a season two. I guess I better start writing. And I did. I already had the idea in my head, and I was like, right, serial killer, da 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 da. And then I went out and shot it out quite quickly, and then I got it done. And then again, I said, right, here's series two, watch it. And then again, boom, 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 risen up. And I was just like, oh my God. So again, season three, I was like, it's got to be a no brainer. So I do hope people do enjoy season three. I mean, it's not up to me to say, oh yeah, it's better than the other two, or whatever, because people have different points of view. Some people prefer series one over series two. Some people prefer series two over series one, or whatever. But all I can say is if to see if I can say what's better about it, in my opinion, there's a lot more great new characters in this season. I mean, there's Monet Marquis who plays Bonnie, who's absolutely fantastic, proper
That's my
badass.
mother's name.
Oh, there you go.
Funny.
Proper proper badass female in it who just makes it really amazing.
Amazing.
We've got a really good actor called Reese Skinner who plays Jackson, who's just such a great guy, a fantastic actor. There's a lot of great comedy in this season, a lot of crazy slapstick, a lot of funny stuff. Yeah, there's loads of great stuff in this. I mean, like I said, Pauline Pert's in it, so you got to watch it for her.
There you go.
There's a lot of twists in this one, like I said, because Bonnie comes back into Red's life, but why? That's what you're gonna have to find out why. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of great new stuff in it, and the cast is incredible, and the stories are really good. And obviously, I wouldn't have tried to make this season if I didn't think it'd be better than the other two, and I
Absolutely.
kind of think it would be. It's kind of up there, so we'll see.
Amazing. And my final question for you, Reese, is you have already announced that you're going to be doing a season 4. Can you tease us anything about that?
Yeah, I have announced it. Yes. All I can say is about season 4 because obviously it's very early yet, and I haven't even written the scripts yet. I've only got the plans, but I have planned everything. And I will say this: season 4 is going to be the darkest, the most twisted, the most scariest, the most bizarre, the most funniest series that I plan to make. I will say this: I've teased that we'll definitely be diving more into Red's backstory. There's a very dark new villain who I've got in this, who's going to be the darkest villain I've ever created.
Wow.
There's going to be a supernatural character in this. There's going to be the first gay characters in this season, which I'm very
Yes.
happy about. Played by two very badass women who I can't wait to work with. Um, what else is there to tease? Well, so far, who I've cast in the new season, they are absolutely fantastic, talented people. And I will say, from the previous 3 seasons, two characters are going to make a return.
That is so exciting. Reese, this has been excellent. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to me. Uh,
Thank you.
thank you. It is my pleasure. I don't really